A nation's future is shaped by the voices it chooses to listen to today. Welcome to the Deeper Conversations with Willma. Beyond what you know. And joining us today is the president of the South Sudan National Youth Union. Good afternoon, Mr. Taban Paride.
Good afternoon.
Lokasmoi.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Brief us, how have you been?
Yeah, I had been well, and then I think we are moving on well since I was elected, and with a lot of activities that we are doing, most importantly, decentralizing our activities to the states and the county levels. Thank you.
Early 2024, you were elected as the president of the South Sudan National Youth Union. How was that feeling for you? What did it mean to you?
It meant everything to me because all along I worked for it, and I think it's a dream come true because it is something that I had been strategizing since 2022. Just laying down my foundation, making sure I had to climb this ladder, and I did it with the help of God as well. Thank you.
Why do you think you deserve the position?
Of course, I deserve the position based on my previous experience. One, I did not just start youth leadership now. I started from my primary, secondary, up to the university. You know, sometimes when you come to the previous student politics in Uganda, we were deeply involved. Okay? And then the leadership there were deeply involved. And when I completed 2016, I think I joined humanitarian organizations, but after 2 years, I was like, no, let me resign. No, not after 2, after 4 years, I said, let me resign, and then let me go back to my people and deliver services, knowing I need to do something extra to my people. You know me, I love doing something to my people, most especially the youth of this country. So I was at the State Youth Union, because previously they wanted me to be the chairperson, but I also pulled down because I knew what I was planning. And I said, no, let me just be the secretary for planning. And exactly, when you go downtown to read, that is Eastern Equatoria, you will see the wonders that we have left behind. So afterwards, the youth said, no, Taban, this time you need to go and contest national level. So we came, and as I said from the beginning, I won the election.
Leadership comes with both negative and positive feedback. During when you were elected, observing some of the comments, a citizen from South Sudan did mention that the name Taban is going to take us nowhere out of this crisis. How do you take such feedback?
It's normal. You know, when you look back at the history of the liberation itself, the late Dr. John Garang said, a movement without Taban is not going to succeed. And who were the two Tabans? That was Taban Paride, that gave me the names, and Taban Dengai. So whoever might have said that, that is his opinion. But the name alone is not what defines you as a person, as a leader. What defines you as a leader is how you deliver exactly what you people want. But I take it positive also. Yes.
The name Paride is such a respected name in our society, or let me say in South Sudan. what does it mean to you that you had to be given such a very heavy name? It comes with a lot of responsibilities, I guess.
Yeah, the name, since I think I was given the name, if I can reflect back on what I'd been doing, most especially me being closer to the church, I think raised me enough. And then one thing that touched my heart was constantly when I meet the late, he normally tells me, you need to do something. You need to do something. And then when he died, I remember my phone was off. My phone was for charging. And because I had the small phone, the small phone, the Nokia phone, I think my sister called me and told me, look, the late is gone, but now what he has left is remarkable. You need to do something. That thing uplifted me and then gave me a lot of courage to say, no, if the late can do something, and then he was the one who gave me his name when I was 30 minutes old, and I should do something. I should really focus and do something. So now that I'm here and then carrying his name is a blessing. Not only carrying his name, but at least after leaving, after the end of my tenure, I have to leave also a remarkable mark that tomorrow when I go, the name Paride will be remembered forever, both in a Christian way. Like, for example, he was a bishop, and then now me, I became the National Youth Chairperson. Who knows tomorrow? Yeah.
How's your role going on since you were elected as the chairperson for the South Sudan National Youth Union? How do you describe it so far?
Yeah, it's dealing with youth is like you're dealing with soldiers itself. You'll find a lot of negative reactions, but as a leader, you need to humble yourself and then do exactly, because at the end of the day, you're not going to do 100% what amuses or what makes everyone happy 100% as a leader. No, you will not fulfill their interest. But what is much important here is you do your posture, knowing that you're doing the right thing. Then later, they will appreciate. People appreciate you when you're gone. They don't appreciate you. And I like it. When people don't appreciate you, they're encouraging you to do more. And this is what keeps me very strong. Yes.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about the youth of South Sudan?
I think the biggest, especially misconception from our big people, is we are lazy.
Are we?
I don't think, but we can be, because not everyone here is in that category. And then we are always very negative. Not knowing the people who lifted the flag of South Sudan to international level are the youth through basketball. Not knowing South Sudan currently, the youth proportion is 72. We have a percentage of almost to 75% of the total population of this country. So exactly what is lacking here is for us to put priorities first to the youth. People have been saying youth are given priorities, youth are given priorities. Yes, to some extent, but exactly you ask yourself, which priorities are given to the youth? And who are those youth given the priorities? That is one thing that people should ask, because the youth now that we are talking about are the youth one that we have to come as youth together. Our own resolution of what we want, the government should look on it. Because constantly, if we are giving NGO and UN agencies to be funding youth activities, it is not bringing any sense. Okay, though they are complementing the work of the government, we do agree that. But what is the task of the government itself? We have our bills lying. The National Youth Development Bill, if it is passed, it will at least raise the status quo of our youth. It is not yet passed by the parliament. We have our Enterprise Development Fund Bill. It is still lying in the Ministry of Justice. okay, and other bill. And let me just mention the two bills. There are a lot of bills. So what if we pass these bills? In these bills, of course, there is a budget attached to it that will help youth to start their own small-scale businesses. The TVET is there. Everything is there. It's a very rich document. So if we allow the document to be passed by the parliament, at least the youth will have what to do. But now, since we don't have any working document, so how do you think, how do you really want youth to be busy? And one thing, our youth are not lazy. Let me say it, because if you look at the posture...
I like how you are outlining the misconceptions and you're answering them back.
Yes. When you look at the youth who have opened up their businesses, there are many. But constantly, who is discouraging this youth? The city council here. Unnecessary charges. They will even charge you past your profit. What do you think the end result will be? Your business will die. If we learn how to promote our local businesses, more especially giving chance to our youth to open up their business, we support them. I think the economy of this country would handle it as youth. And then all this issue of Toronto's wajad, because they could learn at the end of the day. But when they learn, or else they are taught what to do, these people, they are not bad people.
You mentioned something very important, and you said the youth are supposed to be given their position. Who is occupying the youth position?
Yeah, honestly, when you look at the revitalized peace agreement, there is 20% to be given to the youth representation. But now, exactly, the youth does not even know how to get the 20%. Now, how would you be given the 20%? Like, for example, where I come from, I get youth from that arena, and then we focus on giving our own to occupy the youth space. The youth space does not define where you come from. It defines you as someone who is a South Sudanese. When we come as youth together, we amplify our voices, and then the 20%, we advocate it as a national body. Okay? We are good to go. Constantly, what is bringing us down is we are divided into tribal segment, where our voices are divided as well. Whom do you think will listen to you? They will want to divide you so that they will constantly occupy your spaces. You will be shouting, there is nothing that you will do. But my appeal is, I need the youth to come. Let's have a national agenda together as youth of this country, and then we can present it forward so that it is listened to, and then at the end of the day, you attain the 20%, and even more percentage will be given to you if you speak one voice. Thank you.
I think that's a very important concern. As the president of the South Sudan National Youth Union, what are you doing, or what is the union doing to make sure that the youth are given the space that belongs to them?
Yeah, first of all, when I came in, I looked at it as very important for us to organize ourselves from the national level up to the PAYAM level as youth bodies. One, restructuring the state youth unions, of which up to 90% is done. The 10% is what we are going to do within the course of this year and maybe early next year. Not only that we are focused on, we had focused on civic education as well and capacity building to all these youth. We had been involved in a lot of spaces that we are also creating awareness and now talking to our people the importance of youth involvement in all these spaces, both at our country level, regional level, and even continental level. As you might see, I'm talking as a member of PanAfrican Youth Union within the Secretariat. That has never happened. Why? We are doing like this because we want to raise equally the name of our country and the flag of our country, and to make sure we are represented in all these spaces. Youth representation does not only mean we have to be represented in South Sudan only. We need our youth also to go up to the international level, like what our basketball players are doing. Like, for example, in East African community, how many youth are inside the secretariat? IGAD, how many youth are inside the secretariat? Who is representing us? This is what we have to know. In the PYU, Pan-African Youth Union, how many youth are there in those spaces? In Afro-Arab Youth League, how many youth are there in those spaces? These are the spaces when we put all our youth. I look at regardless of where you come from, so long as you have that competence, so long as you have that qualification, I am not a bad-hearted person. I will always push for you, so long as you are ready to speak the interests of our country, regionally, internationally, and continentally. So we have no problem. And the other thing here is, when you look at the business sectors, okay, private sectors, for example, how many of our youth are involved? How many of our youth are competing in international businesses? These are some of the things that we have to look onto it as a country, and then it will help us to raise our youth and then reduce the burden that they think our youth are giving them. Like, for example, being Toronto's chiefs around, okay? And then they are the ones involved in all these criminal activities. It will reduce that burden, because as a person like you, Willma, now, if you have a space where now you're getting some income, right? You can take 2 to 3, 10 straight children. It will reduce the burden, right? What if we have 50 Willmas that are taking care of 10 straight children within? It would have reduced the number and the burden. And then the interest of the country, and then the name of the country would at least make it shine, and we are making it to shine. And these are some of the things when we are advocating for the right thing because of what we are seeing on the ground, and we want changes immediately to happen so that the youth are given their own spaces. Thank you.
You mentioned something very important. Does the union know that our market is more occupied by foreigners?
100%. We are aware.
Does the union have any information about youth that work for hotels are underpaid compared to foreign workers?
Absolutely correct. I think you brought me to a point of when I came, I had to form a committee to investigate this, to get fact findings. The committee moved, and because the committee, we wanted some finance, because it was very comprehensive. And I believe we're still doing that. We are not sleeping. We are still doing that. We have gotten someone who is going to help us fund the committee so that we get the fact finding, and then later on we are going to have a press release of what is happening on the ground. Nevertheless, we did not even keep quiet there. When you look at our markets, it is occupied by foreigners because the city council is making us vulnerable. We have people who are owning the hotels. They are tied to generals. When the youth raises their voices, like in terms of we are unemployed, okay, you'll find you'll be intimidated. I'm not fearing to speak about this because this is what is happening. And some of us are not fearing completely to speak about this because we are speaking for the people, and we are speaking not only for myself, not for my children, not for my brothers, but for those ones who deserve to be given those chances for them to grow. We have gone to a number of hotels. I normally ask them on a daily basis. That's why we are calling for institutional reform to our line institution, to at least look onto this, because when you go to our line institution, you'll find that several questions have been raised with accurate information, not lie, but constantly they turn us down because behind they will be given the percentage that they want. This is what is happening. That is honest. I remember 2023, we have over, is it 600 and something, 666 or 66, 100 and something NGO worker who were exposed to be occupying the position of our national, also the position of South Sudanese in those various institutions. So when they were presented to the relevant institution, so what came was that is a lie, and they came up with a certain data that it is a data that was developed during that night, and then in the morning they said according to the finding, South Sudanese are up to 89%, of which you're supposed to even to be 80 according to our labor law. 80 is supposed to be given, then the 20% to the expatriate, that is the those ones who are occupying high position, but it was up to 89. That is a lie completely, and that raises a question of our honesty as the people who are in charge of such institutions. Do you have to jeopardize your own cousin because of your own interests?
Speaking about that, youth unemployment remains as one of the biggest challenges in South Sudan. What is the union doing to tackle that?
I know the union is constantly talking to the relevant institution to at least, one, employ. Secondly, we have been engaged enough with UNDP. We want to see if we can have a workshop with these traders together, most especially these ones who are having big shops, and then if we can train some youth and then we attach to them on condition that they work for you, and then after finding he or she is a good boy or a good girl or a good gentleman, okay, later on you will be in position to open for him a shop where he will pay you until what you have spent is done, then he will own the shop. Trying to understand what I'm trying to mean, like the Habashi, okay? We are trying to do one. They have shops. We shall attach our own South Sudanese there to work for them. And then later on, after some 6-7 months, if they find out that these boys are good or these ladies are good, who are working with them, they will open another shop that belongs to them. And then this guy manages the shop. After some certain period of time, if he feels he has gained all his profit now, he will give the shop to that boy to begin his business. That is capacity building. Secondly, we are also calling for all these water tankers owners to, one, instead of being drivers and turn boys or conductors, whatever way you call it, let South Sudanese drive. Let them be turn boys or conductors. Because, one, by South Sudanese driving, we are reducing the number of employment. We are empowering our own. We are reducing the number of the accidents that are happening. Because up to 90% number of accidents that are happening are not our own people doing that. These are foreigners doing. I can testify that. Up to 90%. And secondly, the turn boys, or those ones, the helpers, are going to be our youth. From where? The street kids. They will earn something, right? They will take something back home. The importance of it is you are reducing their vulnerability. You are encouraging the other ones also to look for jobs, similar jobs and other jobs, so that they take something home. And thirdly, you are also reducing the burden that are inflicted by these young people to our own people. Like, for example, the theft, the Torontos, they are forced to grab your phones so that they sell and earn living. What if there is something that keeps them busy? I don't think these kind of things will Obviously, no country has zero theft in Africa. But there is a way, if we can handle it properly, we can minimize it.
Speaking about niggers, the gang groups in Juba is increasing every day, and it's becoming very dangerous. It actually involves killing, group attacking groups. And I think the reason that resulted to that is because of lack of opportunities for the youth to engage in. Even when some of them decide to start small businesses, they cannot afford to run it for a long period of time because of paying taxes everywhere and every day. What is the union looking at when it comes to that very sensitive and important concern? Because the future is definitely looking up to these young people to become the leaders tomorrow.
First of all, when we came in, we look at alcohol as one of the factor that is destroying these kids and that is making them to become very wild, to the extent when they drink alcohol, they don't respect and they can cut each and everyone. Whoever comes on their way, they can deal away with you. So what we did was to move to the relevant institution for this alcohol called, is it the red top? And then there are also some substances which are very dangerous. There is a tea that is exported from Kenya.
Tea?
Tea leaf. It is written there, export to South Sudan only. What is so much spectacular about South Sudan? What is so much important about South Sudan that you're writing the thing to be only to us? What is inside that thing? We went to the relevant ministries. Constantly we talked until now. If someone can bear me witness, do we still have that alcohol on? It is not there, right?
Yeah.
It's because
I think the name was what? RG or Waragi something?
No, they call it different. It is there is Royal.
Ugandan,
there is dance. I don't know how they call it. There is another one called dance. Automatically, maybe when you take, you will dance. Those ones, those small. It is all closed. The factories are closed, and we are still investigating. There is another one that is being consumed. We are still investigating. We shall also make sure that one is gone. And also there is something that very important that we should look at. Recently, I'm saying our border is being restricted a bit, and I like what the Bureau of Statistics is doing. Excellent job this day, because when you go to these clinics, there is this medicine called tramadol. It is currently something that is destroying our own youth. How do you think a youth will have that strength to work when he is addicted to tramadol because he's there? What if we reduce tramadol? This guy will gain strength, and then he will look into something as our intervention normally goes on. We are also looking at if our government could open a very big training center that has a lot of activities inside, okay? That has TVET school, that has church, everything, name it, very big. So that it has to be somewhere very far where that place is also fertile. So that when we take them from here, we give them there is standard care given to them as they will be going to school. The church here will also play its role of changing the narrative.
Did you suggest that to the government?
I did suggest that to the Ministry of Gender, and then we are working on that big concept note. It's going to be a very lengthy big concept note.
How about the bill that is supposed to be passed?
The bill that is supposed to be passed, we are working on it. And I can assure you that the National Youth Development Policy is going to be passed.
For how long?
The bill as of a state.
Yes.
From 2012.
It has been a topic for almost years right now. What is it going to take for the government to pass the bill so that the youth can at least recognize the fact that they're being considered?
At least when we came in, we made some effort. And then we push. So it is in its final stage for a deliberation and then pass and then given to the president to sign as a law. So that one, we have no problem with it. But our own problem is we also need to advocate for the enterprise development bill. That if it is passed, it will still also help the youth of this country. And that enterprise development fund bill is too rich that is even talking of what I said right now. The TVET, okay? Name it, a lot of trainings that involves small scale businesses, agro-business, a lot. And also recently, we are also very happy that we have our youth charter. Maybe you might have seen the youth charter. The youth charter. The youth charter is also a very important charter to the young people of this country because it is actually telling the constitution the rights and what the young people of this country want to be included in our final constitutional draft. So meaning in our final constitution, the element of what youth want, sincerely speaking, will be reflected. Because that one will be a supreme law that guides all the laws of this country. So meaning, whatever aspiration that we have as youth, in terms of employment, in terms of our rights, name it, in terms of our political participations, in terms of what it has to be included in our supreme law, that is the national constitution that we were going to have.
I think it brings us to a very important point. The Union's strategic plan 2025 to 2029 was recently validated. What are the top concerns in the roadmap?
In the roadmap, we are looking at the youth engagement and youth participation as well. And then we are looking at the awareness creation. And we are looking at how do we also engulf youth with disability? How do we attract youth in diaspora so that we work together? Because there is something that you don't know. One, there is this naming. When you come to East Africa, it is going to be hard for you to coexist with people who come from Khartoum, like for example. When you come from outside, like the US, there is that way you will always coexist with your own people. So our strategic plan is talking of what do we do as a union, even in terms of our own space, our own office. Very nice office. You have traveled to countries, it is there. And one important element is our office. In that office, all the youth organization, this is our dream, all the youth organization, and even all the youth, any youth who wants to do any of your activities, it is open for you. You come and do it at your own center. The important part of it is it allows us to know exactly how do we even plan for the youth. And then when we want to talk to them, they will all come to their center and we talk to them. Yes. And the other thing here is I talked of dialogue between us and our brothers. It will also involve us or inform us of how do we coexist? How do we even break these barriers of this one jamming when even my own brothers who are this side, it is hard for us to coexist. By the way, I have to be very honest here. I don't know what is happening, but we need to dialogue. And then we also need to dialogue with our elders. What do we do together? Because as youth, there is nothing that you're going to do alone without involvement of all these categories of people. Even if you want to do TVET, for example, if you don't involve all these categories of people, you will never do anything. But when we involve them, we dialogue, and then we have one solution of what we are going to do. And we understand as youth, as I said from the beginning, we speak a national language. A national language that we want 1, 2, 3 as youth, we want it and we speak all as youth, we shall get it.
You have represented South Sudan at a continental level. What have you learned from these platforms? A good example is the Pan-African Youth Summit. how did that elevate or motivate the union to also as well have a look at what is happening in South Sudan relating to the youth?
I think it motivates me because when you look at the PYU itself and its core values and principles, first of all, PYU has been existing since 1962 during the quest of African independence. So it was a wing of the youth organization that talks of African independence. That's just an example. There's something little I have to say about it. So what elevates me is being the young nation and you represented in such kind of forums. And first of all, you're in the secretariat. That has never happened. It exactly informs you of, one, how do you fight hard for PYU to have, because the office, by the way, the office was in Sudan, and then from Sudan, the office now is in Morocco as we speak. So next time, how do you fight hard that there are youth summit that you will also bring in South Sudan, so that they understand which country is this? Because constantly, if you go outside, people speak about South Sudan in a very negative way. But we normally defend our country. That if you think South Sudan is where there is conflict everywhere, and how do we even coexist there? How do I even stay there? By this time I would be dead, right? So being a member there gives me a high hope of like, let me fight hard and make sure tomorrow we have a lot of PYU programs here, so that from their different capacities, as they are representing their different countries, when they go, in case of any investor that is doubting about South Sudan, they will say, no, look, just go and invest. What is said on the social media is a lie, but you go on the ground, it's not what is happening. The other one will, now that if the investor now comes here, like for example, open an industry, don't you think our young people will be, how many young people will be employed? Like even over 600 will be employed in one. So there we also reducing the rate of unemployment that you're talking about. And now we are also uplifting the status of our country, making it as one of the country that is rapidly developing. This is our aspiration as the young people of this country, talking positive about our country so that we attract investors. Because nothing is going to make us employ, nothing is going to make us develop if we don't attract investors. That will solve all these major problems of youth employment, those things that we were talking about before. Yeah.
South Sudan youth have grown up in a country that is conflict affected already. Is mental health one of the concerns to the union?
Yeah, I think if you had been following our page, when we were almost celebrating our independence, even before that, we had series of activities that involve mental health and psychosocial support.
How important is that?
It's very, very important, because all of us, by the way, are living with trauma of our past experience and experiences that we are still getting. But it needs us to be okay. It needs us, the informed one, to gather those ones and create awareness on the mental health and psychosocial support. We did it in Upper Nile University. You will testify. We did it in Upper Nile University. That couples with the blood drive, because we believe also equally it's very important for us to donate blood, so that in case of any emergencies in our hospitals, our own South Sudanese, okay, or our own African will be helped, because it's not only South Sudanese staying here, we all stay here, even those in Uganda, Kenya, and where they are all staying here. In case of anything, if they are in need of blood, they will get blood from the blood bank. And also at Juba University here, we thought it was very important for us to do a public lecture on the importance or the contribution of youth in the liberation struggle. How the youth contributed in the liberation struggle. And it was His Excellency, the former VP, Vice President, Dr. James Waniga, who did a very wonderful lecture here, even informing our youth that the first person who innovated tall buildings is a South Sudanese from Juba. That is the pyramid that we are seeing now in Egypt. The first people who innovated clothing, by the way, are South Sudanese according to the history. If you read the history well, and then the name of South Sudan, and by then Sudan, and then to Kush. So it involves us of a very lovely and wonderful country that we, the youth, if we listen carefully to our history as well, we would change our mind, focus on the national building. And then we also we thought it is very important for us to save lives. What do? We talk to a lot of pharmaceutical companies here. Good Life and Ozone, I appreciate them after tomorrow. They told us, in case of anything that you want to do, please, you normally come. We are all South Sudanese. We will collaborate together, and then we give what we can. We went to them, they gave us some medications, a lot of medications. We took it to Al-Sabah Hospital as a union. We say this one will also save life, because not everyone at Al-Sabah Hospital will afford to buy a cannula.
How confident and sure are you that it will not be charged for?
We talked to the administration. We told them to be very honest, because they got it from the honest hands. That we are projecting something, the vulnerable people who cannot afford it. So if they are also going to commercialize it, we might not be seeing, but God is above everyone, He's watching, which will not be good with them. They have to be honest to our own people as we are delivering service to our own vulnerable people. They are there to save lives. They are not there to enrich themselves, though they are given I call it incentives. Any public servant, you don't get money to enrich yourself. You only get incentives, but you're there to save life. That is my complete understanding of being a public servant.
So what are you working on to build that culture where the young people can be able to question the leaders when it's the right time to question them? Anything that relates to the rights space as the youth from South Sudan?
Yeah, thank you so much. And you should also know that freedom is not free at one point. Okay, it depends on how you ask, because constantly for us to make our leaders accountable on this is, one, we must desist ourselves from supporting our own uncles who are doing wrong things. If they are left alone, they will do the right thing. Okay? Let them take my example. I have a principle that I don't worship a human being. I only worship God. I don't believe in me being a puppet to someone because I'm hungry. No, God has given me two hands. He has given me a brain to think, okay? Probably the energy to do something that will sustain me even a day. If we learn that culture, and that attributes to we are divided into tribal segments. That, I'm sorry to say this, that even the Dongotono themselves.
Dongo what?
Dongotono, my tribe, the tribe I come from.
Dongotolo.
If you happen to question me of something, they will all come in large number to insult you. Not understanding exactly their son. Are you doing the right thing for the nation? Because as you're there representing the whole nation, the whole youth of the country, you are the national level. You're supposed to be accountable to all what you're doing, to even to them. So if we stop sugarcoating things that we know they are not good. Okay, we shall grow as youth. And then the social media usage. That now we deal on propaganda and everything. I want us to use our data that we have in a very constructive and productive way. You go to any country, I know South Sudan, soon maybe there will be a bill that will monetize your own Facebook pages and TikToks and everything, that you will earn from it, maybe soon. But you can go to the nearby countries, okay? You monetize your account, okay? You come and do your funny things that you think you will have a lot of followers. At the end of the day, you will earn living. How many TikTokers are now rich more than some of us? Because they use their social media in a very productive way. This is what is supposed to be done. We use our social media in a very productive way in selling the image of our country in a very positive way, so that we attract more investors to come for the development of the country and even for the development of the youth and each and everyone as well.
During a visit to Western Equatoria, Yambio, you focused on education, innovation. What gaps did you observe on the ground that led you to focus on education and innovation?
The gaps that I saw on the ground is, one, the youth are divided into political grouping, number one. Number two, the youth are being misled somewhere. And then Western Equatoria, to say, is one of, is the food basket actually of the whole country. That when we focus on food production and then telling the young people the right thing of what to do, we are good to go. I went to Nzara. It's one of the county. I think I always give an example to all youth. Imagine Nzara is having a county youth association, but they have a primary school from P1 up to P8. And who are the teachers? The executive of the county youth association. They are the teachers. They are even the one who welcomed me. They moved me around. In the youth there, they don't focus on politicians. They focus on their self-growth. They have their cooperatives so that they are formed. They produce enough food. The only disadvantage that we have is the road. But otherwise, they will be even more better than us who are here. So if we learn, that's why exchange visit is always very good. If we learn from these counties, we are good to go. Another county, by the way, in Eastern Equatoria is one, Kapoita North County, Riwoto. I came on Friday from there. They are youth and they are politicians. They have a common agenda. They normally speak. You might think they are divided, but when they are home, they don't divide the youth. The youth are focusing on their own agendas. You'll find there is no hate speech, there is no what. Everyone is focusing on his development. If we learn as country on the two counties, sincerely speaking, South Sudan will develop. If the youth could learn from what I'm speaking and go on the ground, get the fact findings, whether I'm lying or I'm not lying, you go, you'll find it. Honestly, it is what is practiced on the ground. So we shall really have a sense of working for our own interest, and then the politicians will look for us. We shall not be looking for them.
What do you believe are some of the changes made since you were given the responsibility as the third president of the South Sudan National Youth Union? What have you done that you think really made a huge impact since you were elected?
Yeah, I think one is capacity building to the state youth unions. That has made great impact now. When you go to states that organize, completely. They are really very organized. When you go to Pibor administrative area, they are well organized. And then when you go to Western Barrel Ghazal, wow, they are very organized, until they even had to contribute bricks to their own center, of which we are pushing for them to build their own center. The youth doing that. When you go to Warab now, the chairperson of the union in Warab has mobilized over 2,000 trees that we shall be having a day to plant. We are also fighting the climate change that is affecting us here. When you go to Yambio itself, in Zara, these guys are massively involved in agriculture, of which we promise constantly we shall be coming to them. When you look at these big days where you see youth within Juba and even parts of South Sudan, they are not too much like it used to be. It's because we intervene and we make sure the small alcohol that you talked about is completely banned from this country. When you see our participation, more especially in everything that we normally say, honestly, we always speak for the right of the youth. And it's not going to stop here. I know it's not going to stop here. We are going to continue. Our representation in the PYU and Afro-Arab, we are good to go. So meaning we are planting seeds, though we are having some challenges, but the biggest news that will come will be, I don't want to speak about it, that will be seen by each and everyone.
What's the biggest achievement, one achievement that you look at and you feel like you have really contributed?
I know I'm a Christian. I don't want to talk about myself, but I really wanted people to talk about it.
You are not trying to brag, but one achievement, even if a very simple achievement that
I think one of the greatest achievements is to stop this alcohol from destroying our own youth. That when you see we have big celebrations, the rate of this gang group is reducing, because what was making them to be very aggressive was and that alcohol was very cheap. That can be affordable to each and everyone. 2 or 3 can even make 3 or 4 of you drunk, and then but since we reduce it, I think now we don't have anything.
Looking ahead, what kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind before your term comes to an end?
I think one of the legacy is building our multi-purpose youth office and center that will have all the youth activities in, and secondly, contributing to the climate change by making sure the youth are in front of one, cleaning our own environments and even planting trees. The third thing here is during my tenure, if our national youth development policy is passed and enterprise fund bill is passed, those ones alone, I think I can say thank you. I go and concentrate on my garden.
You go back to the village. A nation's future is shaped by the voices that it listens to today, from peace building to youth empowerment to representing the young people from South Sudan at a continental level. It was such a delight having you today, and we cannot wait to see the union doing a lot and helping the young people find themselves and their space. What last message do you have for the youth?
Yeah, we are going to a period of celebrating our own day. That is the International Youth Day. That the theme will be out by next tomorrow. That will be shared, and I want our youth to turn in a large number, because we'll be having ongoing activities. One of the activities that I say is we are going to do the cleanup, we are going to do the trees planting, blood drive, we are going to have another awareness on mental health, collaboration with the Red Cross, South Sudan Red Cross Society. And we're also going to a public lecture and then celebrating the event with a lot of cultural dances and some performance from the artist. And then maybe as we have blood drive the other side, because that is now our main focus. We want our youth to donate blood to help our own. And then lastly, we concluded with the football match. And then another event will also come afterward. We are trying to train youth in collaboration with Red Cross. If we can train over 1,000 youth on first aid and the importance of blood donation and emergency response, I will be very, very happy, because at the end of the day, we are living in an environment, anything can happen at any time. But when you don't have the skills, you will not save life. And who are the people to save lives? Those are the youth. We are trying to train them on emergency response. But in case of anything like flooding, they will be in front to go and help our people. If like anything like landslide, they will go there and help. Inshallah, we don't pray for that, but natural, those are things that we have to be prepared for. So we want our youth to be in front of this, and then in case of anything, we help our own place, our own country, because you cannot say you're in Juba and then you think nothing will happen in Juba. Please, it's a lie. Don't think flooding is only in part of Jongole. No, it's a lie. Nothing can occur anywhere. So it is better for us to come as youth, get trained, and then be ready at any time for any calamities that is to happen. Thank you.
All right, you can look at the young people right there and give them a final message through the camera.
My final message is, I think we have to harmonize ourselves, forgive ourselves, and then we need to talk and we need to speak a national agenda for the youth. That will help us all, and then that will help our own issues to be tackled. And during this International Youth Day, I want youth to be focused. One, if you get any tree, please plant where you think is good to be planted there, because we're also trying to conserve our environment. Secondly, we need to be very clean. We need to clean our environment, and then let's avoid littering, most especially the bottles. When you take water, as a youth, we're very much concerned. Don't throw it. You be responsible of your own environment. Take it and then put it where it's supposed to be put. And then lastly, I want us to be productive. I know we are going through a lot, but you need to put God ahead, and then constantly, where you think we shall be of a great help to your own admiration, please, own inspiration, please, you come to us. The National Youth Union office is very open to all the youth of this country. Come, we share ideas, productive ideas that can bring youth to coexist together, and that will make us grow as youth, that will lead the nation to grow. I think that is my final message of peace, hope, and I know we all deserve a certificate of resilience, because we had been resilient and we need to be resilient, and I know God is with us. Everything will be okay, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah. And definitely, as a youth from South Sudan, we do recognize and appreciate the work being done by the union, and we cannot wait to see you achieving more.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Deeper Conversation today. Yes. Thank you for being part of this episode. Remember to subscribe and stay tuned to my YouTube channel. Deeper Conversations Beyond What You Know. Stay tuned.